What's going on, guys? So right here, this little guy right here is an iPhone 17 Pro Max. I got the silver. The orange I thought would have been a cool color. I like orange. I got it tattooed all over me. But at the same time, unlike my tattoos, which I can't get sick of, or I can, but I can't do something about them really easily. So I figured the orange iPhone may kind of get old to look at and maybe kind of bright and people may see you holding it up or whatever. Anyway, I just figured less is more and go with the silver, which this is. And you can see the back has, it's not great lighting for this. It's mainly for the display right now, this video. But it has this white patch over here. And I almost thought it was a sticker, but it's not. It's actually apparently part of the cooling mechanism for the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I had an iPhone 15 Pro Max. I skipped the 16. Did I need an upgrade? Probably not. What I really kind of wanted was the camera control button as a photographer. So if I depress that, it will trigger the camera, which can be a good thing. Sometimes it can be annoying because it can be really sensitive, and you can change the sensitivity settings on that a bit. But I want to just kind of talk a little bit about what I'm digging about this iPhone 17 Pro Max and what I may not be digging so far within the first week of having it. Now, the cool thing with the camera control button, it's a physical button, and what you can do is actually, when you're in the photo mode, I don't know if it will do it right now. I think I have it. So I have it set to toggle my exposure compensation. And I like that I don't have to actually touch the screen. Sometimes when you're composing a shot or you're holding focus, like pushing down and locking focus, and then you try to adjust it, it will change focus. It's just kind of too much going on. So to have a physical button outside of the screen is kind of cool. You can depress it, and I have exposure, and I also have zoom. So now I can go ahead and scrub and zoom like that. So the actual camera control button is pretty cool. And as I said, you can change the sensitivity to it in settings. I'm going to go over here into camera control, which is the first setting. And over here, you can go ahead and customize, I believe. No, where is that? Come on now. Oh, here it is. So in accessibility, you can change it. I went from default to firmer, so it takes a little bit more of a press to trigger the camera control feature. And same thing over here, double light press speed, double click speed, all that kind of stuff. So you can control the camera control a teeny bit. And one of the big things, obviously, with the phone, or actually not obviously, but with this iOS, which is iOS 26, which I didn't even really know much about, to be honest with you. But it has this liquid glass display, and as you see, it's pretty interesting. Let me do a screen recording just to see if I can add some cool B-roll. But if you just swipe down, oh, I don't know, there you go. So you could see, that's pretty darn amazing to get that to happen and adjust everything and blur out the lettering and, you know, pretty darn fancy. Now, the thing is, I'm a visual guy by nature. I love living life in Technicolor and being super vibrant and colorful. That's just my thing. Now, this can almost seem too much. Say you're texting someone, I don't know who it may be, you know, you go over here and it's doing all this kind of illuminating and, you know, whatever it may be. There's just a lot going on visually. And if you want to kind of make it a little bit less and minimize, you can go into accessibility over here. And what I figured out, or what I've seen other people I think do, if you go to display and text size, you can hit reduce transparency. So as you see, it kind of improves contrast by reducing transparency and blurs on some backgrounds to increase legibility. So now it's not as extreme, and that liquid glass intensity kind of went away a bit, and I kind of dig that. So I'm showing you the little liquid glass in full effect right now. But what I was rocking as just a normal phone was with this toggled on. And personally, I like that much better. What else is there? So yeah, I mean, it's kind of a very visual iOS. And to me, I was watching actually the iPhone 1 launch with Steve Jobs, just to kind of rehash and just looking at it on YouTube. And the cool thing is, it was simplicity back then. I mean, we had a physical home button, which I kind of dug, even though, yeah, I get it. It's minimal now, but I liked having, you know, the lock screen, and I liked having, I just feel like this phone does too much without me even knowing what I'm doing. I mean, I don't know, even with the camera app. Now, mind you, again, I've been rocking the iPhone camera for a long time. I mean, I had, as I said, an iPhone 6 campaign with Apple. I don't know if I have the image in here. Even the library, I kind of don't like how it's almost confusing now. It's like you don't know where things are. It's like, okay, everything's over here. Like, why can't it just be the camera roll and be done with it? Regardless, it was pretty cool being an Apple guy from literally 1984, having an Apple IIc, and coming full circle and having Apple as a client. It was pretty surreal and really a pretty awesome moment. So what else is there? The camera control, pros and cons, as I said. It was really nice to have this physical button, but at the same time, it can depress a little bit more easily than you want, triggering the camera app when I don't necessarily want it. So pros and cons to that, you can disable it. People are digging this kind of thing to have quick, you know, access to your live and flash and whatever it is, your camera settings essentially. But to me, it's not a deal breaker. I wasn't really not digging the stuff before. I mean, it's same kind of thing, but now you don't have the little modes and stuff like the black and white and stuff. I don't even know if that just disappeared. You have, you know, this guy has the 0.5, the 1, 2, 4, 8. It's pretty darn impressive. And if you see, I was just playing around earlier. I mean, even, see now, where am I going? Collections, library. I mean, look at, I took the picture of the squirrel. If you just depress this little button, and I don't even know what the spatial scene totally does, but look at that. I mean, can you see that? I hope you can. But I mean, it's pretty surreal. Now, the thing is, it looks super cool on the iPhone 17 Pro Max, but what do you do with that? Do you share it with people? Can you share this spatial scene with someone so they actually see the effect? Let me know in the comments below. I really don't know. This is kind of stuff that I didn't really even know was existing in the iOS and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I just upgraded. But pretty cool. You have the ability to shoot, you know, RAW, 48 megapixel, whatever, 12 megapixel. So that's cool to have the Pro, the Apple Pro, whatever it is, RAW, I think it's called. Let me see. Let me go into camera again. And I'm kind of approaching this review a teeny bit as a photographer, but really just as a user experience so far within the week as well. So you can see down here we have formats, most compatible, photo capture 24, Pro RAW and resolution control. So that's basically what we want. We want the Pro RAW because that is basically the best file we're going to get out of the iPhone 17 Pro Max's camera. But this phone is pretty darn cool. It doesn't feel really too heavy. It doesn't feel, you know, much different if you just kind of use it as a normal phone. I know people don't really use these things as phones as much anymore, which as a kid born in 1972, I really appreciate talking on the phone, and a lot of people don't. So I have, you know, a better time speaking and conversing with people than just typing. I just don't dig it. But also using this to fly drones, it has now a 3000 nit display at peak brightness, so it's going to be a brighter display. It's a 6.9 inch display as opposed to the 6.7, I believe, with the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So for me, I appreciate the little larger resolution in real estate. I appreciate the brighter screen. And what I do as well, I assign this little button, this action button or whatever. If I press it, it's going to minimize. Let me move this candle so I don't burn my phone. It's going to minimize the, what do they call it? The action button. It's going to reduce the white point. So this is a pretty cool little trick to having a really bright display, not always be so bright and not be so harsh on your eyes, because this thing is a lot to look at. And that's part of the deal with using these phones and screen time so much. It's hard on your eyes with something so bright. So if I just depress and long hold the action button, now it's going to reduce the transparency. And again, you assign it to that by going to action button and then accessibility. And then you can go ahead and go to reduce white point, which reduces the intensity of bright colors. So that to me is a very smart way of utilizing this guy. It's kind of confusing though, all this swiping and stuff. That's why I really do kind of miss a physical home button a little bit less than all of this stuff that keeps on happening. I mean, I get it. We're progressing, quote, this is air quote, we're progressing, but at the same time, are we really progressing? I mean, look at what's going on. I mean, this can be a whole bigger topic, of course, but does it seem like people are happier now? I mean, the iPhone and all of this technology and cameras and everyone with the camera and phone and whatever, social media, I mean, it just seems like we're all supposedly so connected, yet at the same time, there's more depression, more anxiety, more loneliness, and I can vouch for that myself. I mean, I feel like I don't even get phone calls anymore because just people don't use the phone that way as much. So it's kind of a weird thing. And another little irk, even though I'm an Apple guy, these iOSs, right when you start becoming familiar with it and used to them, they go ahead and change it into a complete frickin' facelift. So not only does the functionality change a bunch, the looks change a bunch, you kind of have to get refamiliarized with a whole new iOS and way to work. And then the apps change, and even something like Snapseed and Lightroom too. You know, Snapseed used to rock. And now, you know, they just went ahead. You can't work in landscape anymore, just like Lightroom. I don't know why they would take that functionality away or not make it an option. But not to be able to work in landscape mode on a beautiful phone and display like this is completely ridiculous. So just a lot of annoying things. Basically, stop changing what isn't broken. And I guarantee most people who have these latest and greatest iPhones do not even know anywhere near what their capacity is as far as the camera and all the apps. I mean, they don't utilize them to their full potential at all. I mean, how many people are going into, you know, the camera app and actually taking, like, knowing all the frame rates and what's going on with all this 4K 60, 4K 120, which is pretty amazing. I haven't really taken a lot of 4K 120. I want to try to get some good example and sample footages of that. But, you know, ProRes, this thing has so much going on. Like, how are you supposed to figure out all of these things? You know, fusion camera. I mean, this is a pretty serious thing. You got macro control, all that crap kind of popping up. You know, you start taking a picture of something and then it wants to, you know, go in the macro mode. Like, let me see if I can do it with this. Oop. A little further back. You know, you get that little thing popping up. So it's just, it just kind of goes all over the place, and there's just so much to figure out and learn. And the older I get, the less I really want to mess around and F around with technology. I want a camera that I can actually have full control of. This thing is never going to be that. I don't care what app you have. If you want to really have full manual control and take amazing pictures, buy a camera. You know, buy an A7 IV or something like that and spend the money. I mean, this thing's almost $1,500, $2,000 for the better ones. This is the 512 capacity, I believe. Well, I know it is, but what is it exactly? So storage, yeah, 512. They have a terabyte and a 2 terabyte, which is pretty ridiculous. This does have a USB-C 3.0, so it should have quicker transfer speeds, but regardless, I don't want to have 2 terabytes on my iPhone. 2 terabytes on my iPad Pro, that's fine because I don't take that thing out and about. But anywho, it's a bit of a wrap up from basically under a week of having this phone. I dig it. It doesn't seem amazing. It just seems like a better iPhone, but at the same time, what does better really even mean? It's all relative. To me, I almost was intrigued to get the iPhone Air just because it's so small, and as I said, less is more, but I know I can't do that as a photographer and a creator because I do need to have a good camera and the ability to take pictures if I want. I mean, you know, you have all this stuff too, the in-picture control, so you can do that with video. I don't even know I forgot what they call that. Dual capture. So I don't know, there I am. Hello, that's not pretty, but regardless, you have that. So hope this helps someone out there. I wouldn't be super crazed to go and get the iPhone 17 Pro Max if you don't need it. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really utilized it to its potential, but then again, it's an iPhone. Like, what are you doing with this thing? I mean, the iPhone 6, as I said, did a great job. To me, these cameras are getting too crazy on these phones. It's like having all these lenses and all these options, and the thing wants to do too much. It's all this computational photography. It's just kind of overwhelming and gets in the way. That's why picking up a camera and putting it on manual mode really is refreshing, because you know what you're doing. You can bracket a shot, you can have full manual control. It never is going to hunt and jump focus and exposure and all that kind of crap, which is kind of why I wanted the physical button on the side with the camera control button. But that's it for now. Hopefully this helps someone. And yeah, the liquid glass is kind of a little gimmicky, and to me, probably something that will get old to look at after a while. So, you know, you don't want to have all this stuff constantly going on. It just becomes a little much. And that's it, guys. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit the button, comment, all that stuff helps the algorithm, which I'm clueless about, hence my not huge subscribe following. But regardless, I'm working at it. Aloha. Bye.